Thanksgiving leftovers are all gone. Black Friday and Cyber Monday shopping finished, and the school semester is wrapping up too. As the year comes to a close, many things are ending, and that includes us here at Primetime Sportz, but just for the year. That being said, we want to finish this year strong and give you a sports-packed show, beginning with a historic night that took place this past Wednesday in the sports arena. Coach Ron Hunter is now tied with former basketball coach Bob Reinhardt for most wins in school history at 107. Coach Hunter, however, he could probably care less about the record if I fail to mention that this was the annual Samaritan's Feet game. Both Coach Hunter and Wright State head coach Scott Nagy led their teams while barefoot the entire game. The Barefoot for Bare Feet public display is to raise awareness for children in impoverished nations that are without shoes. Money raised at Wednesday's game paid for over 100 pairs of shoes for the foundation. The money raised wasn't the only highlight of the evening, as the Panthers pulled out an 81-74 win over the Wright State Raiders. Senior Jeremy Hollowell continued his consistent production, knocking down 6 three-pointers and totaling 22 points on the night. For an in-depth analysis on the game, be sure to check out Primetime Talk on our YouTube channel that was hosted by Nathan Nair and myself this past week. Amongst many things going on this weekend, it is the start of track and field season for our Panthers. This first meet began this morning in Birmingham, Alabama. The single competition before the end of the year is actually called the BSC Panther Indoor Icebreaker. You know, I doubt they'll be doing any games like, hey, tell me what your name is and an adjective that describes you with the same first letter. I'm sorry, professors, you know, that one was kind of aimed at you and your innovative first day games. For the track and field team, though, the Georgia State is traveling with 20 athletes today, mainly focusing on warming up to competition before the full season begins in early January. We wish them great success, and we will be sure to keep you posted on Twitter for those results. Now, success is fun to talk about, and that describes the recent play of the Georgia State women's basketball team. Reporter Malik Brown fills us in on the exciting recent win for the team.
This past week, Tiffany Holston was honored with the GSU Student Athlete of the Week. The senior averaged 10.7 points and 11.3 rebounds as she led the team to 2 impressive wins against Kennesaw State and American. On Tuesday against Kennesaw, Holston scored 19 points as she shot 8 from 9 from the field and grabbed 11 rebounds. Despite the loss against Penn State, Holston managed to grab 10 rebounds, with 5 of them being offensive. To finish the week, Holston hit a game-winning three-point shot against American in overtime. It was her first three-pointer as a Panther, after only making 7 in the past 3 seasons in Albany State. The Panthers' next game will be tomorrow against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. For Primetime Sportz, I'm Malik Brown.
The hype from Georgia State's win over Georgia Southern is a couple weeks past, and now the team will play the University of Idaho tomorrow in Moscow, Idaho. I'm joined on the desk with the Deacon David Shealy to talk about this season of GSU football for the final time. So, David, going into this game, I have to ask you, what do we expect to see from Idaho in this final game?
Well, Idaho's a very good football team, and they're going to a bowl game, so congratulations to them. They're coming off 3 straight wins, and they're averaging 34 points in those wins. So this is a very good team. They have a lot of momentum on their side, but so do the Georgia State Panthers. I mean, Georgia State does allow over 200 yards rushing right now, but going against a team that runs the ball so much, like Georgia Southern, in the way they were able to shut Georgia Southern down 2 weeks ago, I have a lot of excitement about this game. I think Georgia State does have a chance to pull out an upset.
Wow, that's really good. All right, so I have to ask this, I guess, some form of this question. Does Coach Lopano being here, coaching this game, we saw what he did to Southern, so does Coach Lopano coaching the team against Idaho, does it give them any better of a shot to win?
Absolutely. One of the things that a player told me leading up to the Southern game was that Coach Lopano brought like different energy to practice. Like he's more of an upbeat guy, where Trent Miles was more of a laid back, kind of a Tony Dungy type of style. Coach Lopano is very vocal. Yes. He has a lot of energy. He's not John Gruden or anything, but he certainly brings a lot of energy to practice, and that energy translated into a win versus Georgia Southern. So
Yeah.
you saw that Georgia State came out with a lot of, I mean, it's the same people, same players that Trent Miles was coaching up, but it seemed like when Tim Lopano took over, they played with a lot more, I guess, swag, as you might want to put it. I mean, because they went out and they did their thing versus Southern. So I'm not gonna rule Georgia State out just because Idaho's very good and they're headed to a bowl game. I think Coach Lopano really does give Georgia State a shot at this.
Okay, wow. I will take your word for it. Now, I have to ask, with this being the last game of the season, what are some moments that stuck out, some memorable moments from this past season?
Well, we got to go back to week 4 versus Wisconsin.
Yes.
That game was amazing. Okay, so Georgia State came in here a huge underdog, okay? For the fact that they took a 17-13 lead early in the fourth quarter, Glenn Smith had over 131 yards. You see Robert Davis had that great touchdown catch to put Georgia State within 3. But, I mean, for Georgia State to come out there and show people that they could actually play with a team that was in the top 10 at the time, it was huge. So I think that game, I really thought that game was going to add a lot of momentum for Georgia State heading into the next few weeks. It didn't, unfortunately, but that game was very exciting to watch. The other memorable moment was absolutely the game versus Southern, which we've just been talking about. Georgia State absolutely took them boys to school. 145 yards for the senior Keith Rucker on 8 catches, and that man's expecting a baby. So a lot of great things going on for that guy. Also, Coach Tim Lopano winning that head coaching debut. So all of that was a big deal. I mean, how is that not memorable? You close out the Georgia Dome with a big win over your rival, and that's 2 straight. So Georgia Southern ain't got nothing to say to us for the next year. So those are my 2 memorable moments for this past year.
Okay, wow, that is. I love seeing those highlights, you know, especially against Wisconsin. Really wish we could have pulled out that game, but seeing Southern and seeing how we were able to dominate them makes me feel good.
Yeah. I mean, Wisconsin got a little bit lucky. We'll say that.
Yeah, okay. All right, so here's another of one of those kind of typical questions, but I have to ask, if Georgia State wins this game against Idaho, does that interim tag in front of Coach Lopano's head coach title, does that get removed?
Unfortunately, I don't see that. I just think that Coach Tim Lopano is here until the end of the season. And after that, whoever the new guy is, they've been saying that they want the new guy to be named before the holidays. I'm not even sure if that's going to happen. I think that might happen in 2017, early 2017, but it's definitely not going to be by Christmas or anything like that. Tim Lopano is a great coach, but he's just not the type of college coach. College coaches have to be able to recruit high school kids. That's just not his forte. So I don't think he's going to remove that interim tag and become the permanent head coach. I think there's going to be a new guy coming in, and whoever that new guy is probably going to clean house, most likely. Now, if he keeps Lopano, that'd be great, but the chances are that he probably won't. So we lose Lopano and the 2 mentors, which I think is a big loss. But, of course, we don't know who the new guy is yet, so we don't really know what he's going to do.
Okay, wow. Well, we talk about a new guy, and it's exciting to see this future coming ahead of us. And, well, for myself, this is my final show. This is our final show of the year, but my final show as anchor, and that means I'm tasked with the responsibility of handing over the anchor job to a new guy who is sitting on my left. This guy, Deacon David Shealy, is going to be your new anchor in the coming next semester as it goes for the next few shows. So, handing it over to you, I'm going to put you under some pressure, under the spotlight, and I'm going to have you take over the next segment. Can you do that for me?
You want me to read the prompter right now?
I think so.
All right. Well, let's see what we got here. Baseball season is still a few months away, but the Panthers' schedule was announced yesterday by Coach Greg Frady. Georgia State will not shy away from tough competition in the upcoming season as they will face 13 teams that competed in the NCAA tournament this past year. That includes new Sun Belt opponent Coastal Carolina, who just so happens to be defending national champions. The Panthers will be without former leaders on the team like catcher Joey Roach, but look to establish new chemistry with this team. The Panther baseball season begins February 17th when Georgia State hosts Marshall for the 3rd annual Atlanta Challenge.
All right. I think you can handle it pretty well, and I'm looking forward to see you on the desk next semester. But that is all for this week's show, and like I said earlier, this is the last show of the year for us at Primetime Sportz. But be on the lookout for new content in the new year. Hey, I want to give a special shout out to our own Nathan Nair, who will be graduating in the upcoming weeks. Hey, look, he's going to be missed around this office, and I know the viewers are going to miss his content. For all those graduating this semester, hey, congratulations. And until next time, I'm Caleb Johnson. This is Deacon David Shealy. Take care.